Let's also look at the CBN's introduction of the flexible foreign exchange policy. How do you see such initiative?
A flexible forex policy had to come sooner or later when you have a great reduction in the dollars that come into the economy, and the demand for dollars has not changed. The currency's value is determined by, in effect, economics, supply and demand. Supply has collapsed, demand is still the same, so some rates would have to change. So to manage this great disparity in the supply and demand, to bring in the flexible exchange rate is advisable, because it's going to work out to close the gap between the whatever market rates are going around there and the offshore rates. So it's commendable. It has to be done.
Now, based on the outcry of dwindling revenue, crippling of production capacity for crude products, inflationary pressure, and rise in commodities, is the nation really broke?
The nation is not broke, but the nation definitely is going through dire straits. The nation is going through a difficult patch. Whoever is receiving a certain income and suddenly that income changes or reduces to a certain level, it will have an impact. Maybe crude oil at $140 or $100 at one point for a very long time. It crashes to 27, now is about 40, 50. Even whoever has his income reduced by half will have to feel the pinch. So it's not broke, but there are difficulties, of course.
What is the current state of Nigeria's federation accounts?
The federation account is an account where all the revenues of federation come in, and where analyses are done at FAC level and also at the post-mortem subcommittee of the Revenue Commission, because this the post-mortem subcommittee of the Revenue Commission and the technical committees that determine the amount of work, amount of details that's going to FAC, the Federation Allocation Committees, do a lot of analysis, and a lot of work is done to make sure that every piece of revenue that's supposed to comes into Federation accounts. The Federation is doing very, very well. The only thing is that the revenue streams had collapsed because of the collapse in the price of crude oil. And you said to some extent, even the reduction in the quantity because of the vandalizations taking place.
How much exactly does Nigeria have in its federation accounts?
You wouldn't know. It's changing every day. Money is coming in every day and payments are going out every day. I wouldn't have that fact with me. It's probably the Accountant General of the Federation or CBN that would have that detail, because it's something that changes by the hour. Payments are coming in regularly and outflows are going out regularly. It's something that is going to be a moving. It's only when we go to do allocations once a month where the actual figure as of that time is determined, and then that is what is going to be allocated.
Okay, as at the last allocation, what was the state?
I can't tell you offhand.
Okay. What is responsible for the fall in government's revenue?
Well, we mentioned it before. The primary source has been crude oil and gas, and price of crude oil has crashed from about at one point was even $140 a barrel, then came down for a long period at about 100, 107, and then it collapsed to 27, and then gradually has inched up back to 50 or 47.50. Now, certainly, any impact will be felt down the line, because out of that even $50, you must remove cost of production. Whether you are doing PSC or JVC, there must be cost of production. This has to be produced, and the cost of operating the oil wells and running the system have to come out of that $50. So it's not the entire $50 that is going to come in as revenue. Whenever you have this collapse in price, you would definitely have difficulties, and that is why we're in this difficulty.
What policies would you advise the federal government to adopt to boost the nation's economy and the revenue base?
Now, from the studies we made, we found that there are some areas where we could have quick hits, or we could have some high level of success in terms of diversification. And the Revenue Commission determined that the two best are agriculture and solid minerals. The others, like manufacturing and tourism, have a potential, but not truly something that we can say can have a very, very quick impact on the revenue streams or even the economy, because the view of the Revenue Commission is not just only revenue, but also the economy itself. Because the economy, if it improves, is diversified, it will create employment, it will create jobs, and the entire economy will be uplifted with a high GDP in the country. So and the revenue, of course, will follow. As economic activity increases, revenue would follow the economic activity. So that's what we've been recommending. We've made certain suggestions on agriculture, and we've made certain suggestions on solid minerals.
Shetima, Umar, Abba Gana, thank you for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you.
And that's it on this episode of Question Time. You may also send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Join us next week on another exciting episode of the show on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashiru saying goodbye.